I'm joined in the Unison offices today by some of the women who struck and won last year for equal pay in the Glasgow equal pay strike. I'd like to ask you all, first of all, just to introduce yourselves, your names and where you work. First of all, just starting with Denise.
Denise Phillips, I'm a home carer and I work in the south side area.
Okay, I'm Patricia Mills, I'm in education and I'm in the south side area too.
I'm Isabel O'Brien, I'm home carer for the south side as well.
Okay, and Denise, first of all, how did you get involved in this fight for equal pay?
Well, obviously it was going back years when it wasn't adding up to what the men were getting, to the bonuses to what we were getting, and it took away our grading. And then we realised that when the amount of money that we'd lost, we started taking it up. Because basically they were robbing us for years. You know, the way they were working out like, the different payments on were paying grading at the end of the day. So, and we never gave up to at the end of the day because we're entitled to it. We're all low-paid women workers. So why should actually, because we're female, that our pay wasn't going up like the men and bonuses? You know what I mean? Theirs was going down instead of going up.
Yeah. And obviously this dispute went on for roughly a decade. I mean, that's right. Both in the courts, but also, of course, eventually through industrial action. Are you all veterans of that whole duration? Or did some? But many women presumably got involved at different points. Yeah. So like people were being drawn into the dispute, presumably after they started working here and stuff like that. Patricia, I mean, we've talking about how these were women workers in different parts of council work, education, home care, that sort of thing. Was it difficult for women in different occupational groups to organise across those occupational groups, or was that something that the union was very important in bringing women together?
Yeah, we had meetings.
Yeah. Well, the union was important. It was vital, in fact, you know, for us to go and unite everybody, you know, and know that we're there for advice, we're there for support. And there was actually a lot of sectors without council jobs that didn't actually know they were entitled to an equal pay. You know, they thought it didn't affect them. People, again, low paid, low women, you know, they just thought, I don't think I would be entitled. So there was a good bit of raising awareness there. What was the form of activity that this dispute included you in from the start? I mean, when it was in the courts, was that, you know, something you felt was quite remote and something you couldn't be involved in, or were you following it very closely? How did your union keep you involved in that process?
Well, in 2015, that's when I joined Jamieson. I used to be in another union before that, and I moved over to Jamieson. And then they started having meetings. They had the very first meeting was in here on a Saturday morning, and everybody said that we should all get together with all the lawyers and make sure that we're all working together, and that's what we've done. And we had regular meetings every month from that to get members involved and things like that. Was it hard to stick with this fight over the long duration? There must have been times when, because you're constantly being told you can't have the money, and you know, there's constant pushback from the council. Did you ever believe that you wouldn't get the money and that this was, you know, in vain?
We wouldn't give up the fight. You know what I mean? We knew that we had our rights. The money was in the wrong hands, of the wrong people, the councillors. You know what I mean? They let us down, and they go on about all the millions it's cost them. No, they did that themselves. It wasn't the low-paid workers at the end of the day. We were getting robbed for them. They were sitting pretty. And I dare say if it was on the other shoe, they would get it in a heartbeat. As I say, we had to fight 12 years and we weren't prepared to give up.
Yeah. Okay, fast forward to the strike itself then. And what was it? I mean, when the strike was coming up, when people were warming up for it, was there trepidation, or were you just totally confident that you were going to have a massive turnout and make the impact that you did, Patricia?
Yeah, well, you know, across all workplaces there was a real strong solidarity there amongst our members, and again, we knew we were fighting for a good cause. There was a wee bit of the disbelief, are we going to get anywhere? But everybody just sort of keep positive, glass half full kind of attitude, but we all stuck together, and it was just go down in history, you know, it was just, it was immense.
And I remember the strike rocking the city. You could feel the atmosphere on the day in particular, but actually for quite a lot of the time you noticed the growth in activity, people running around with placards and all this kind of stuff. Were you prepared for, you know, the how huge it became and how much support there was from the public?
Because when you go out there, you don't know who's going to turn up. You're worried people don't turn up, but everybody was united. Everybody just wanted the same. They just wanted to make sure. I mean, on the 2 strike days were the best days of our life for me, because the actual rally itself was just amazing. It was film, and people just all stood together. So they did. It was just brilliant.
And Denise, how did you feel on those days? What sorts of feelings? Because I mean, it must have been, you know, incredible to know that you were sort of making history in that period. Did you have a strong sense of that? Yeah,
it was great that everybody came out and bundled, you know what I mean, whoever they were, like the bin men, at the end of the day, where they were, even at the schools, everybody was helping, and it was the worst day, you know what I mean, we were all windswept, and we were all happy faces on that day, you know what I mean, even though we all knew we were out losing money, but we knew at the end that it was worth fighting for, because at the end of the day, they did it 100 years ago, and we're 100 years on, our kids, our grandkids, we don't want this to happen, so we wanted to move it forward and get what we rightly deserved. But it was amazing, it was an absolutely amazing day from like the start to the finish, you know what I mean, and as I say, it was everybody, it just wasn't home carers, it was everybody in their families, their wee clients, home care, schools, education, social work, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. Everybody that could was there to support us.
When did you know you'd won, and what did that feel like?
Well, it was just disbelief, really. It was, I thought, you know, because it was...
There's still an air of disbelief. In January, it was agreed in principle by Anne-Marie O'Donnell in Glasgow City Council to agree in principle to pay this out. Having been 12-year claimants, we were still very sceptical. We knew the strike was so effective, it reached the far reaches of the entire world. There was all sorts of plaudits and applause around everybody that did it, because it was a collectivised strike. It was amazing. It moved us, and hopefully it moved the council to then come back to think, we need to do this. So agreeing in principle, we were in here that night when it was euphoric, we were on the news, but there was still that state of, please don't get and run out and spend money that you don't actually have in your account. And sitting here today, we still don't have the money in our account. Yes, we've agreed or disagreed, if some people have got disputes around it. That's an individual thing, it's an individual claim. But until that money starts going into the economy of Glasgow, the same city that we shut down in October for 2 days is going to benefit greatly from the money that's going to be generated. I went into my bank the other day to open a separate account for something, and I saw an equal pay claim, which is like, you're the first it's been in. So the banking industry are also sitting there to think, this is huge. There's over £500 million going to come towards, and it is predominantly the women. There are men that get equal pay claims, but off the back of the women being the disadvantaged, and it was just not a gender-proofed scheme that was put into place by Glasgow City Council. So see how much it cost to put them right. Do you know what? We did the job, and we didn't do it wrong for 12 years. We did our job every day, and we did it right, and now we're getting the money to say, well done for going to your work to do it, and now that recompense is going to be, I mean, there's a party, I don't want to talk about the party that somebody's hosting, right, but see each and every individual claimant, they should be having a party, patting themselves in the back and saying, well done. It was a collective strike, but you know what, it's a collective, we'd be on strike again tomorrow. It has generated something as a trade unionist, where you don't just want to down tools, so I'm all right, Jack, everybody out the door, there's no toilet roll, no toilet paper in the toilet. There's not that kind of, it's that bit where you believe in yourselves. And it was great that we got the education people on board. We had a wee bit of work to do around getting them on board, but we did it.
With education in particular, we were told, you know, you may not be entitled to it, but that didn't stop, because we knew we were all had to stick together and fight for what was right, and it was a bit low paid, undervalued, and we knew that was the right thing to do.
And that's an interesting angle, because of course a lot of this sort of work, whether it's education, home care, or many other things, it's care work, and it's seen as women's work. So what was it like to have that valued, you know, on that day? Because it's so often invisible, not just in work, but, you know, in society in general. How much of that was a part of this, that kind of gender angle about women's work and that being rewarded at the same rates?
There are also men out there that does the same work as us as well, and they're low paid as well. So, and at the time, over, I'm a home carer, as you know. All my clients were there for us as well. And people, some of the clients came to the rally. I mean, everybody was behind us. The whole of Glasgow was behind us on that day because
it was not so much Susan Aiken who told us we did what we were striking about, but she soon saw what collectivised strike action could do.
What it's meant for people now, you know, they're just the feeling out there, as we said, disbelief, but it's meant for a lot of people who've been in financial hardship for years because they're underpaid, because they've been undervalued. And for this now, it's like, you can take a deep breath and breathe now. You know, a weight's been lifted.
There's also a side to it where we've all taken part in the support workshops thereafter when people got their offers of equal pay. There was also a bit where we'd opened up the branch and the Royal Concert Hall in, you know, in joint partnership with GMB and Action for Equality. And some of the stories that have come through the door, and not to identify anyone around us, but it's been humbling, it's been rewarding, but just to hear what people are going to do with this money, it's just, it's incredible to think that there's people out there that thinking, getting a holiday. Now they work hard, and one of the conditions we have in our employment is 40.5 days a year of annual leave, or of your term time, or, you know, there's different capacities of holiday. But to hear people coming in here saying, I'm going to have a holiday. So what did they do before? They did overtime. And a lot of the time, when people had time off, they would put themselves in for an overtime because they were so low paid to start with. So effectively, it was just a vicious circle. But now that people are in a position of power to say, I've got some money, I can make better life decisions, I can maybe, some people have got 2 and 3 contracts, they can give up a second job or a third job. And they are predominantly with the council, so it's not, it's multiple contracts, but it's mainly within the one employer. So that employer is now sitting thinking, again, these people who shut the city down can also shut down a level of a service because now they have been recognised, rewarded for the inequality that they faced every day of work. They can now again say, no, you're treated as better, paid as better. They can now make better decisions, but it's been an amazing experience, that side of it as well.
I think it's been great being a role model for others, like younger generation. I've got 3 children myself on my own, and to them, you know, they're going, oh, Mum, I can't believe you're doing this, you know, and I've been talking to them about it, and, you know, looking back in history, women's fights up and struggles up to this present date, and I said, you'll be learning about this in school soon enough, and they're like, really, Mum, you're famous? I'm like, no, not quite, but together, so just to explain it to the younger generation and take
I was in a card shop in Central Station a couple of weeks ago, and the girl that served me, young woman that was serving me, she said, did you come up to Strathclyde University and speak to HR students? I said, I did, yes, I came with a few other people for a trade union. She said, well, it was inspirational, and their final exam as HR graduate students was a lot around the equal pay in Glasgow, and that's their lecturer who was wholly behind us, and he's like, you know, you used to change history that day, you made history, you used to have changed the way forward as well. So there's people out there that are recognising people that are kind of front line in the strike action, and you think, do you know what, see if people are still talking about this, and this is June, and they'll speak about it forever more. It's brilliant. We've done something right.
And of course, in this country, there have been decades gone by where people who are like politicians who are very anti-union and so on have sort of said, you know, they've pushed these ideas that, you know, you're a fool if you join the union, you'll pay your subs, never achieves anything for you and all that kind of stuff. What would you say to young people who are, perhaps, for example, who are in an ununionised workplace? What does it give you? You know, on a day-to-day basis, not just on the day of the big victory or whatever, but what does it give you as a feeling on a day-to-day basis?
It gives you strength, you know what I mean, like, with the body sticking together and fighting for all the same thing at the end of the day, and what an outcome you realise they've all been saying, you know what I mean? They're realising even for primary school, my grandson comes in and talk about, you know what I mean, and all the way through, if she's, all they would say to us, this equal pay, this is all I hear is this equal pay, there's always talk about that equal pay. I says, aye, I says, well, but I says, that's something that you'll always remember at the end of the day throughout your entire life, what we actually fought for. But yeah, as I say, it's like a union family, even like the Action for Equality, obviously there's more of them
More claimants and
more
action
claimants
for
for
equality.
action for equality as well, and they've done a brilliant job immensely as well. But it's of course, but they needed unions to take us out and strike, and there was a strike.
That was what became very
and
evident,
that's what came very evident. They didn't want another shutdown of the city because we exactly did that day, and they knew how, you know what I mean.
Well, the former quality
you know
of staff, and it was a bit where people, again, it's like, what does the union do for you? We're a member-led union, so it's what we did, it's what we all did. There was no one person, no one victory winner here, it was a collectivised, across the board, everybody was equal. So we've got equality within our branch, so if we can outreach that to workplaces to say, this is what a trade union does, because you are the trade union. So if you bring us something in a day-to-day, we will deal with the day-to-day, but see the bigger things, we also deal with that. We'll confront it, we'll address it, we'll try and change it. We'll try and redress the balance again, because we understand that the anti-trade union legislation that came in. Now, when the bin guys, and it was predominantly guys that came out of the 8 depots or how many depots across the city, they knew what they were doing. They knew that when we hit the streets, they were coming out to support us. So the Tuesday morning, first thing, we're all hitting the picket line 6:30 in the morning. I'd never been on a picket line, never been in strike in 33 years of my job, never been in strike. Turns up at the picket lines, and then word starts spreading. The guys have walked out of Polmadie, the guys have walked out of Dossel, the guys, and it just went across the city. Then there was a threat if they were getting suspended. And then as the day dawned and the city shut down, and the realisation of it was like the carnival coming to town, not one single member of our cleansing department faced any disciplinary action. So they actually broke the trade union laws that was imposed by the Conservative government or whatever. Nobody faced any punitive action thereafter. And then we had some city parking people coming out. There was like the story I'd spoken about last week was people coming in from all over the city. Now you've got predominantly women coming in with their dogs, with their strike t-shirts, people with their grandchildren coming in with all the strike t-shirts, their banners, their placards, anything that could say strike, and I'm part of it. Considering the schools were shut down, so the Waynes had to come to it. And they thanked us. It was a week after October week, so they were all very grateful. But coming in, the guys, and we'll say first bus, because we'll give them a wee boost. They weren't even taking the fares off these people. They were just like, go on the bus, coming into town. And then when they saw what was happening from Glasgow Green up to there, there's people standing in the street applauding us, and you see it all on YouTube, and I watch it back, because having been at the front, carrying the banner, I don't know what was going on at the back of me. But see, when I've revisited watching that in like social media, it brings you to tears. You think, it's like that bit you're on the moon landing, you're on the moon, but you don't see what's happening on Earth, the response of it. And it's almost that bit where we all took part in it, but we need to go back and look and go, that was all about all of our members. That was all the people in this city that supported us. Nobody moaned about their rains being off. Nobody moaned. And see if they did, I never heard them. And I don't want to hear them.
With great support.
It's changed. It's not just about equal pay, and it's not about money, and it's never been about greed. It's been about dignity. Everybody was in that rally was dignified. There was no public unrest. There was no public disorder that day. There was nobody getting into trouble. And that's the thing that we need to take away from this, to say, this is how you do it. This is a blueprint for getting change. Be a trade union, get your members on board, lead a rally, lead a strike, and do it peacefully. Now, it was October, as you said, Denise, it was a bitter cold day, that it was raining that morning. And I cynically thought, what do you do in day 2 of a strike? What do you do? Monday's all about the rally, it's all about standing up in George Square and doing speeches and being heard, and everybody wanted to be part of it. My God, in day 2, what like the picket lines? They were packed. There was Waynes had turned out their beds at that time in the morning, a day off school, and they were there, and there were
rolls coming from Greg's. And
there's head teachers in the schools, because it didn't affect although the schools were close to the children and the facilities management went in and the support staff went in, the head teachers were out getting his tea, sliced down to lemon drizzle cake, and that was in a school just over at Kirkap. And we were like, oh, and if you need to use the toilet, ladies, that's available to you.
Even some of the girls from the colleges came in, they gave us biscuits and
that was the young people for socialist worker. They bought us
they were so kind to us.
And it was so well received, wasn't it? We'll do it again.
There was lots of departments want to go and strike in support of us.
Well, I'm going to be a bit controversial here and say that the consultative ballot that was put out last May was split in, and our branch secretary Brian Smith was very clever to do it. And he split it into 7 job families, but there was a bit of misinformation from back in the day about who would be an equal pay claimant, and it's always been portrayed as a low paid woman. Okay, but as a branch and collectively with JMB and Action for Equality and Unite were in the room present too, they got it up to grade 6. Now that's fantastic, because that's more about going forward under the job evaluation and in valuing everybody's work, not just the lowest paid. If we can get that to grade 6 to be re-evaluated, that's fantastic. But when we did a consultative ballot last May, the return in what was Claudia was phenomenal, through the roof, world breaking, right? Education was good, but we knew we had work to do, and that's when we did phone banking, and we did lots of work in and around and got the numbers up. Now, see, when people now come back to me and say, I didn't get equal pay, I didn't know what equal pay, well, what do you think that consultative ballot was about? See, if you're a trade union member, you need to be committed to read the literature. And there's been emails put out, because we've had to really defend our stance around to say, sorry, you were lettered, you were emailed, all sorts of correspondence has been out there, but I do think people sat back thinking, that's not about me. See, if we'd taken out all the 7 job families that was broken down, my God, it wouldn't have just been the city shut down, it would have been everything. You know, it would have been everything. Every building would have been closed. We'd have been picking very much closed buildings, more closed than they were.
Prior to this time, we got a lot of bad feedback in the Times,
saying
that because we were home carers, we clients,
we're all going to die.
Do you going to die? Having them on front page, you know what I mean? But to be quite honest, like, everybody was behind us, you know, our eagerness for to do it. They know how hard we're in there, but we actually do a job. We're actually nurses, you know what I mean? Low paid workers doing like a nurse's job without the qualifications and without the pay. So they were the ones that were behind us, and some of them turned out who could make it. Their families was even bringing them, making sure that their families was going to cover them to get us there on that day. There was no kind of bitterness that why we shouldn't not be doing it, because I say they knew that it was all wrong what the council was doing to us, you know what I mean? No parents when they should have all these years ago.
It's always
absolutely right, Denise. It was portrayed that because home care, and I'm so glad that home care was still part of what was called at that time. The emotive side was, it was portrayed that people were going to die, and in this point I always like to put in, I'll tell you who did die. There's a bench round at George Square that was unveiled about 4 weeks ago, and it commemorates 163. It's actually gone up since then. From 2007 to May 2019, there's 160, so we're near 170 claimants who have died, who never got the joy of the win of this, and they didn't die before they could party, so I need to put that out there. They died before they saw equality delivered in the city, to recognise that an equal job, equal value. So that's who died, but the actual service users within home care, there was contingency plans put in, and the people that were backing up their service with were district nurses, doctors, social workers, residential care home workers. But these women are out working for a fraction of that pay. So that tells you that the service they're delivering needs to be re-evaluated properly to say, actually, when you didn't do the job, here's who did.
I think we realised when they did do it, you know what I mean, how hard it was, you know what I mean, they were actually having to do, God, did they do that? And that the time they actually do that on, how could they possibly do that?
And they've done it for years with a plume. You've delivered the service with a plume.
Done it for years. I mean, this week we've lost one of our co-workers. He's only 62 years of age. You know, I mean, just to offer, and it's so sad. I've been another one that's we've lost, and it's heartbreaking when we should have it all these years ago and been able to have spent it with our family and our time. And as you say,
people might not be in the debt that they're in, because there's 200 claimants getting nothing. Zero, zilch, nothing. If they've owed debts to the Glasgow City Council, it's been taken off at the before deliverance of whatever they would get. But there's actually 200 people we have with a zero, nothing. And you think, do you know what? Were they in debt because they weren't paid properly? And we're not here to analyse that or make it. I'm not saying it's right, I'm not saying it's wrong. What I'm saying is they fought a battle for nothing really.
People struggle. I've struggled all my life with things. I mean, sometimes I haven't been able to pay my council tax, but because it's either your council tax or feed your kids, so the first thing you do is, well, I'm going to feed my kids. I mean, so it has been hard. It's been a real, and I've been to food banks and all that because I couldn't hang me in it, and I'm not embarrassed to say it.
No, should you be?
Because it's been hard, because you struggle to feed your bairns and hang me.
Debts mount up, and if you're not getting paid properly, it's an aggravation. It's a level of stress.
I know that I'm going to get it. I'm going to be able to give my kids something, and I'm going to be able to have security, you know, in life. But it is. I actually feel I'm quite emotional about it.
And so you should be, because of the sacrifices you've had to make.
I mean, it's fascinating to hear that, because, you know, that's equality means being able to feed your kids, or even just go on your first holiday for X number of years.
Not in pay poverty. That's people out working that are
doing all these jobs. You know what I mean? Some of them are on 3-4 contracts.
Absolutely, for the biggest employer in the city.
It's scandalous. It's
July,
absolutely like robbery.
any money. That's what I'm thinking. July is the first month I've not had to borrow money.
And I have to see
Every
you
month I
through
borrow
your
money.
And obviously there were reports out a couple of months back that showed that not only are women in the economy in general, so over the whole economy, women are still being paid less than men.
Yep.
But not only that, there's no progress. So the gap's not closing.
No.
What can this generation of women learn from what you've achieved in this fight?
Standing up for themselves,
Believing
believing themselves,
believing
putting themselves out there in this gender pay gap, get that whole sentence, get that negated. That's just not on. People at the BBC paying a man more than a woman because actually they might look better or that. Do you know there's so many disadvantages out there, but women actually run the country. As I keep saying, we're the invisible workers who became incredibly visible, but in society we need to become more visible. We need to be more articulate around it. We need to be saying, stop, no, here's actually, and I think more of our sentences have to start with, when I was in strike, what were you in strike about? Equal pay. Oh, what was that? We've all got a story. There are 8,000 people that took part in a strike who have all got a different take on it, but the actual bottom line is, society has to change.
I believe it's starting to change,
I think so.
especially in early years, because in early years you're starting at a very young age now with gender-based roles, and jobs, roles. You want to be a doctor, that's absolutely fine. You want to be, and you let
Be
children
in, you want to be.
believe in themselves.
Correct. And that starts.
And that's starting now. So hopefully we can build on that.
Yeah.
I mean, just one last question then, because I was interested when you were saying about, I remember at the time of the strike, I was surprised by all of a sudden all of these right-wing papers, for example, that had never discussed the plight of disabled people who needed home care before, through 10 years of austerity, were suddenly horrified that their carers were going on strike for a limited period of time. A city where austerity is affecting so many different groups of people like Glasgow, what can groups of people like that, like disabled people, what can they learn from something like this? I mean, is there something to be learned from people whose struggles aren't necessarily workplace based?
Just as society. I think as a society, I think we really do need to get more education, and that's not about being elitist around education. That's about, as you say, from the beginning. I think parents have got more of a responsibility, and I think in particular mothers need to start saying to boys and girls, do you know what? Be what you want to be. Society will accept whoever you are. It's a changed world we're living in, but we need to keep changing it every day. It's fluid. It needs to keep moving and progressing. And anybody that wants to come into our branch and speak to any of our people from whatever, I mean, our last branch committee, we had a young person in from Extinction Rebellion. I really struggle to say that. And see, sit and listen to her, and you think, yeah, everything's important, but most important thing, the world, and then the people in it.